What is up, nerds? Welcome back to episode 39 of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit, here with my co-host, Justin from Pickleball, etc. We've had some time off. A lot of things have happened. Justin, why don't you tell everybody what we're talking about today, man?
Well, you know, if we didn't skip weeks, we might be at episode 50 already, which is kind of crazy to think about. But hey, you know, duty calls, all right? We missed last week, but it was for good reason. We're going to recap what we've been up to the last couple weeks, and it's been pretty interesting pickleball stuff. And then we're going to go over some paddles, of course. We are going to talk about the PBCoR test, USAP PBCoR test. Is it broken? That's the question for today. We'll get into our normal segments, net gains, new week, new main. And in NERDTOWN, we're going to talk about our 100% foam cores overrated.
Juicy podcast.
Oh, and then we got a thumbnail face? Yeah.
I'm not going to put those in the thumbnail.
Please don't.
No chance.
Please don't.
All right. Well, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to our title sponsor, which is PB Vision. You guys have probably already heard now, but PB Vision is an AI-driven tool where you can upload your pickleball gameplay footage. It will analyze it and give you all of these different statistics and analytics based on how you perform in your game. And it gives you great insight on things that you do well, things that you do okay, and then lots of things that you can improve upon. So great tool if you're looking to improve your overall game and you're someone who likes to film your gameplay. It really is a very eye-opening experience to watch yourself play. A lot of people comment on, high-level play footage on YouTube are like, this is 4.0, this is 3.5 in my area. And it's like, trust me, don't judge people until you watch yourself play.
Everybody looks
PB
for
Vision,
film.
100%. And PB Vision is an excellent way to kind of just showcase the things that you can improve on and obviously see things you're doing well. So if you use the link in the description below, you will receive 15 bonus credits when signing up for PB Vision Premium. So thank you, PB Vision, for sponsoring the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. So, man, speaking of gameplay, we had the PPA Challenger event in Baton Rouge. And let's just start with, we had some exhibition games. Justin and I...
This is why we missed last week. We were traveling. I mean, not for you, because Baton Rouge is your hometown.
Baton Rouge,
I actually went there to Baton Rouge, and I was there for quite a few days for this PPA Challenger event.
So basically, we got invited to play a singles Dreambreaker style match. And then for whatever reason, the owners thought it would be hilarious to put Justin and I up against two pro ladies. So we played them, and then we split and played a mixed game where Justin and I played with one of the lady pros against one another. So, Justin, do we want to tell them how it happened? You want to go? Go over singles, because
well, just to clarify, this was like the opening night of the tournament. It was Thursday night before the tournament actually started, and it was pretty cool because there were a ton of people there hanging out. There was like a crowd essentially.
Yes.
And then, so basically the first, event, they had these separate little exhibition matches. The first one that we participated in was, Dreambreaker style singles game. And technically Lewis and I were team captains. We each had a team of 5 people instead of 4. And we were matched up against each other in singles. And so we went out there first. And dude, it was a little nervy. Like,
I was freaking out, dude. I never got that nervous playing.
I've never been that nervous playing either.
Yeah, I think it was the combination of the fact that it was singles, and I know I'm horrible at singles.
Yes.
And there were all of these very high-level players playing with us and watching.
Yeah, because it was like the Challenger event. Not to mention, it's in your hometown, so you know a lot of the people watching.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know them, but I mean, like, the crowd was cheering, dude. And we go out there, and like, I think you have to serve the first serve, right? But anyway, I can't remember who served first. And I just remember thinking on my first serve, I don't even think it was first serve of the game. I was like, oh my God, don't hit this in the net. Like, everybody's watching. It's just me out here. But it didn't hit into the net. And the Dreambreaker, overall was actually super close, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was to 25.
Not our games. Our games were not close at all.
Well, the game goes to 25, and you guys ended up winning 26-24. So you had to go an extra point to win. But yeah, I got the better of Lewis. I think we matched up 3 separate times, 4 points each time, just like a dream breaker. I think I got 9 of 12. So
Justin beat the shit out of me.
Well, it wasn't even
close.
Compared to our teammates, by the way, our points were not entertaining.
Horrible.
So
ours were the worst points ever.
We had our longest rally was 4 or 5 shots. I was just serving real hard, and you weren't returning particularly well.
No,
it
was rough.
Yeah, remember this though, because this is a setup for something that'll happen later. But so I definitely got the better of them in that. But our team still lost, but it was kind of clutch because we were down. It was towards the end, and I went out against you, and we were you guys were at game point, and I played against you, and then got 3 in a row to kind of catch us up, and then we ended up losing anyway. But that was fun. That was actually, like I said, very nervy, to be honest.
Yes.
And then after that, for some reason they thought it'd be a good idea.
We got to shout out John. John was
John Toe.
Yeah, he was by far the most entertaining singles player. It wasn't even close. He had the crowd jumping and screaming. There was one point. I'll have to show it on here that was very fun. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
I learned a lesson that day from John, actually. If you're going to be doing that type of exhibition match and you're nervous or whatever, just try to hit the craziest shots you can, because good or bad, it's going to be funny,
100%.
And everyone loved it, and it actually hyped the crowd up big time.
Yeah.
Our points were boring, okay? But there were some good people on our teams. Some of the points were really good singles points. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then next up, like you said, for whatever reason, they thought it'd be a good idea to make Lewis and I play against 2 ladies who played in the pro division. These are 5-0 plus ladies, and they're very good. Yes. And that went about as expected. Yeah. I remember saying before, what's the over-under? What do we get? 4 points, And then you and other people, I had kind of pitched this to a couple people. What's the over-under on how many points we can get? And I kept saying 4, and most everybody was telling me that was very optimistic. They didn't think we were going to get 4 points. And, dude, I think that we actually made them play more than they expected to, or more serious 100%. Than they expected to. There were actually some good points, and you could kind of see throughout the game.
They did. I checked back the footage. They got 3 serves on a side out.
We gave them, and they got some extra points.
And they scored
off that too.
7 points off of that side.
Oof. Well, we gave them an extra serve because we're nice and we're gentlemen.
That's right. Yeah,
but
as if we needed to nerf ourselves anymore.
Final score, 11-4. We got our 4 points. But like I said, there were actually some decent points in there, and I feel like I could tell throughout the game that they were kind of taking it easy in the beginning, and then they were like, "Oh, I think we actually have to play to win."
Yeah. It was fun though. They were ballers.
Very good.
But and then we switched. We played some mixed games. I played with Adela, and you played with Carly. Those are the 2 ladies who played in the pro division, and we kind of stomped y'all.
Yeah, you got us good, honestly.
Yeah.
Adela was so consistent, and I was not. We'll put it that way.
What side did we play on, Justin? What side did we play on?
Oh, yeah. We played the right with these ladies, both of us, which is actually really funny
right
because
side princesses.
Neither of us really talked about this, but we lined up, with our teams on opposite sides of the court, and then look up and see each other on the right. Yeah. And we both just start cracking up. We're we both end up playing on the right.
Yeah. There's no egos here, guys.
Watching the footage back, I kind of think I should have played left.
Yeah.
We won every point I was on the left because we only half stacked. I didn't feel like running a bunch, but I don't know. Who knows? I'm not saying
me on the right.
I'm not saying that I'm better than Carly, but I was just playing decently on the left. That was fun though. That was actually a lot of fun. And by the time the doubles games came around, I wasn't nearly as nervous. And also, since we were totally expected to lose, it was
oh yeah.
But deal. That singles, whew.
Oh my God, dude! My heart was pounding.
I know. I was thinking about the pros, man. that's a different animal. You know, they're out there
Yeah.
on live TV in front of a big crowd playing singles, like in the finals, the top level guys. Like pro athletes are they're just built different, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd be so nervous.
Oh man, yeah, it was really fun. But PBA Challenger in Baton Rouge was successful. They had a lot of really good pros out there, a lot of international players, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, that was cool.
And they were all just like so happy and chill and kind of different vibe compared to the American players. You know, a little bit calmer, a little bit more easygoing, not so serious, which was cool to watch, you know. But yeah, I met a lot of cool people out there. We met up with Vin and Brandon from Neonic, played a bunch with them, and
Great guys.
trying to think of anything else. Yeah, shout out to them. We were just chilling hard, you know.
We took a picture with them when we were like, hang on, we got to hold Neonic paddles, just like real chills.
Yeah.
So, that was a lot of fun. It was fun hanging out with those guys. And the other thing, you said anything else, of course, is you played in this tournament.
Oh, shoot, dude. I forgot about that. Yeah, I played. So it was originally 4-5, and then they combined the 5-0 and 4-5 because I think there was only 2 5-0 teams. So they put those two in the 4-5 division. Shocker, we get the number 1 seed in the
Well, it's not a
first
shocker.
game.
It's because you were the bottom seed.
Yeah, we were the bottom seed, bro. Yeah. I didn't know that PPA was like that. I didn't know they did seeding based off
duper.
Shit, dude. I'm going to have to really, you know, rethink what divisions I sign up for now. But anyway, the first game, we're playing a 4-9-9 and a 4-6-7 or something like that. Yeah. I'm playing with Edwin, who is no slouch at all. Edwin is a very solid 4-5, probably could easily play 5-0, and can hang with a lot of really, you know, good players who are close to pro. He's a 4-1. I'm a 3-9 or something like that. We beat them 11-2 the first game. We pretty much played flawless pickleball, and they made every mistake.
They didn't make a lot of errors that first game.
Yeah,
I was there watching, by the way.
Yeah, it looked like they played like what I would expect I would play against a 5-0 player. You know, just making all the mistakes. Then the second game comes, and me and Edwin, we're freaking jazzed. We're like, all right, let's do this. We got 2 games to close it out. No big deal. Let's rock and roll with this one. Let's keep the flow going. We lose 11-1. We made all the mistakes, and then
and
we're like, okay,
their gameplay.
Yeah, no big deal. We know what they got. Neither game was a game where both teams played well. So I was like, okay, third game, let's go in there. Let's try to tighten it up. Justin gave a bunch of really good feedback. I was like, there's nothing dangerous about them. Just play. You know, see who makes the first mistake. The third game, we were back and forth. I think we were up 6-5.
It was close,
and then
for a while.
Yeah, and then they just took over. We made a couple mistakes, and we ended up losing 11-6, which, you know, going 3 games against a 5-0, you know, team, even though their dupers are more correlated to 4-5, is impressive in my opinion. I was happy with how that game went. So we went to the back draw. We won our first back draw game 15-12 or 15-10.
Yeah, and you guys probably could have won. It wasn't like you guys really weren't. It wasn't like nervy or you weren't tested really in that game. Even though the score sounds kind of close, it didn't seem that close. It seemed like you guys had it in control the whole time.
Yeah, we had it under control. I think we were a little too calm and chill, and probably could have been a little
stepped
bit
on
more,
the gas and.
Yeah. Not to take anything away from the team. We just had that game kind of under control. It was just one of those games. Then we play the next backdraw game, which is if we win, we go to the bronze medal match. We it's a very, very tight game, very close. I think we were down 12-14. Edwin hit like a really important Ernie winner to end their side, but he ran into the referee, hurt his knee, was barely able to continue.
Even closer. Pretty sure you guys were up 12-11 at that point.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, and then they got it back.
You're probably right.
Yeah, because Edwin hit a sick Ernie, by the way, like one of those. They were unwinding the stack. He was running from the opposite side, unwinding, and just full sprint like a seamless Ernie. But the court next to them was the gold or bronze medal match for a different division, so it had a ref standing in between the courts, which a ref's normally not there. And that ref was standing there, so whenever Edwin jumped like a full speed jump, he jumped and ran into the ref. And clearly hurt his knee like right away. It was like a pretty good little collision. The referee wasn't hurt or anything, but and then like very next point, something simple happened and they got the ball back. And I think they were down 11-12 at this point. You have to check the footage, but I'm pretty sure this is what happened. But then they just rattled off a bunch of points. You could clearly tell that Edwin was not himself. He wasn't moving well. He was like wincing in pain. And so they kind of, I think they just finished the game out there 15-12. And Edwin immediately just like basically hands his paddle to you halfway, sort of like drops it in front of you, and then like limps off the court immediately to the like there's a little trainer section.
The medical, it was a good game though. I mean, one of their players, their left-sided player, his name was Gavin. Dude looks like he's gonna do your taxes, and then you hit the ball to him. He's got nasty skills.
His rolls were really good.
Yeah, his backhand rolls super solid. He covered a lot of court really well, and then his partner was named Mark. He's this left-handed guy. He just got balls back, man, and that's kind of a recipe for winning. They went on to win the bronze. So all in all, pretty damn good, tournament in my personal opinion for my second time playing 4-5. I was very happy with the performance. Had fun playing with Edwin. Edwin's a gamer. He's kind of he's a little more serious than I am. I'm kind of like, having fun and can be very serious, but he's like intense. So I feel like I do well when my partner's kind of aggressive and intense. So I think we played well together. But yeah, man. Any other thoughts before we move on to Austin?
No. Yeah, I think you played well, and it was you had close games in a hard division for you. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun to watch. And beyond just your division, I was watching a lot of the divisions. I watched the pro divisions. I watched the next day, the mixed, and there were some good players, man.
Dude, I know. Very very high level pickleball, which is always fun to watch. We went following the PPA Challenger event Monday morning. We left to go to Austin for the Adidas event, as well as the host versus co-host battle. So
the podcast battle.
Yeah. Monday we leave for Austin. I get to be just a little passenger princess in Justin's car, and who's the wife now.
You were just working the whole time.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I had to do a bunch of editing. But anyway, we get there. We meet up with Brian Lim from Building Pickleball, Rafa, Pickleball Tech Dude, Isaac, and Chris Olson. And we play some open play at Eastside. Eastside Pickleball is very nice. However, you talked about this. Like the visual sight lines are not very good.
There's just like significant amount of windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
if you're on one side of the
loud.
court, it's great. If you're on the other side of the court, it's not very good. That's my only gripe about that facility. It is
also very loud.
Nice. Dude.
Remember how loud it was?
Yeah.
You could like barely hear people talking.
Yeah.
So.
We couldn't even hear each other from across the court. You had to like scream. But super cool facility regardless. We played a bunch of open play, and then we got some Mexican food and went back, and then got ready for the next day, which was the Adidas event. Justin,
All day
I'm gonna let you take that away, man.
Well, I don't know if I want to take it away. Maybe we'll just wait till next week because in reality, we can't share too much about it. And it'd be kind of pointless to be like, we did this, but we can't say that. The general part of it was very fun. It was a good group of people. It was an all-day event. There was plenty of playing pickleball. There was also the presentation. We got to see the new paddles that they're launching. And
biggest
learn about them.
takeaway was the dimes game.
Oh, yeah. And that's from Ryan DeWidgen. Ryan, who is one of the owners of the lab. Since there was only one court at the Airbnb place that we were all having dinner and hanging out at, there was a lot of people wanting to play. He introduced us to a game called Dimes. So shout out Ryan to this. It's basically a shorter version of a regular game, but different. And it puts more pressure on the serving team to perform. Basically, one team serves 10 serves. And you just alternate left, right. And you keep count of the amount of points you scored out of 10, right? So team A will serve 10 times and say they scored 5 out of 10, and the other 5, that team B won the point or whatever, the rally. Then the second team gets a chance to serve 10 serves. And either they score more than 5 and they win, or if they make it all the way to 10 and they didn't even score 5 points, then they lost. And then it's kind of winner stays, next team on. And if you tie.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you just do, everyone come to the net and you do ball off the net, like where you drop the ball right on the net court and then just scramble and you just play out the point to see who's the winner. But yeah, these games were probably more like in 5 to 6 to 7 minute range to do dimes, which is faster than a typical pickleball game, which is probably like 12 to 15 minutes.
Pretty intense, though.
Yeah, and it did make it more intense. And of course, we were all kind of watching and heckling, and that made it way more fun. And Isaac and Brian
6-0
ran the
talking
court.
shit.
He's almost 6-0 at pickleball. Bro's at 5.9.
Jeez.
Yeah,
he
good,
had some grade A chirps, man. He was.
Oh yeah, he's like, if you could choose one person to like have at your pickleball games in the audience,
100%.
Yeah, he's 100%. Like just he's 7.0 hype man.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah. So
Isaac and Brian Lim kind of ran the courts, as Justin said, as I talked over him. But they kind of kicked everybody's ass. Isaac, when he turns it on, Jesus Christ,
he's good, man.
That kid can play pickleball.
Yeah.
But Adidas event was very fun. The paddles, we can't talk about them yet, but when we can, we'll give you all the information and the juicy deets. But Adidas, thank you guys for inviting us down there. It was fun. It was very fun. So
yeah, we got to know some of their team. That was cool too. I always like to kind of see the people behind the brand.
Yeah. They were, people were good too, and that's what I liked about it the most is you could tell they wanted to raise the level of not only the products but just pickleball in general, which is very important from a brand that's as established as Adidas to go forth. So we're gonna move on to the podcast battle. Obviously, we're not gonna spoil anything, but basically next day we went to the lab, which is where I got this hoodie and hat. I'm repping that lab merch pretty hard. Yeah. But dude, very high quality stuff. We all met up. This was myself, Chris, John Q, and Braden were a team versus Justin. We had Brian Lim replacing Kyle, Eddie for the John Q podcast, and obviously Isaac Olson for the second half of the Pickleball Studio podcast. We did an MLP style event, and man, it was so freaking fun.
It was a blast.
Yeah, genuinely one of the most fun things I've ever done with pickleball. Everybody was just talking so much shit. The games were good.
Some of them.
How nervous were you at the beginning?
A little bit, yeah, because I had to play the first game. Oh, you had to play the first game too.
Yeah, I had to play the first game, but here's the thing. Here's the reason why I was so nervous. The day before at the Adidas event, I kid you not, this is not exaggerating at all, I played the worst pickleball I've ever played.
It was
like
hilarious, actually.
so bad.
It became
like,
a
Brian
bit,
was
by the way.
driving on me. Dude was like making fun of me so much, and I was like, Brian, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of got in my head a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like,
Dude,
I was
yeah,
like,
it
I
was
knew
so
I was
funny.
playing that bad.
It became a
horrible.
bit like Brian was just like, dude, just hit it to Lewis. That's all you have to do to win.
That was
Just hit
true.
it. Just put the ball in front of Lewis, and he will make a mistake. But he's not kidding. It was bad, dude. It was like
it was horrible.
I was kind of cringing because we've had some days together where I've played really bad.
Yeah,
And I know how I felt, and I think you played way worse than that. It was kind of
it
shocking.
It was shocking.
And a lot of those guys haven't seen you play a lot, so they might have just thought you were that bad.
It was brutal. I mean, it was like 3-0 pickleball. At best.
Maybe.
Couldn't get anything over. It was just horrible, shanking shots left and right. But anyway,
Yeah, it kind of got to you.
Yeah, I was nervous the next day. I was like, "There's no way I can play any worse than that." But let's just hope that I, can kind of play at my, my average. And if I do that, then I'm happy with that. So I was a little nervous, but the games were very competitive, and let's just say things went to. It was about as good of a ending as possible in terms of.
It's pretty much already spoiled. Everyone's already said it.
Yeah.
It went to a dream breaker.
It went to a dream breaker.
So,
but go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is gonna come out on YouTube, so you guys can watch it. Yeah. And the format that it's gonna come out, essentially, there are 4 games and then a dream breaker, just like MLP style. And then the 4 channels: Pickleball Studio, John Q, Pickleball Effect, and then Lewis's, Pickleball Pursuit. Each of those channels will post one of the 4 games in consecutive days. So for 4 days, you'll get to see the 4 games, and then the Dream Breaker is going on Pickleball Studio. Because shout out to Chris and Isaac, they're doing all the editing. Yeah. It was like, what'd they say, 8 audio tracks and 7 cameras? Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean, I offered to help
them. We're all mic'd up.
Yeah, they said they got it, taken care of, which is extremely nice of them. So thank you, Chris and Isaac. I'm sure Isaac's doing a lot of the dirty work, but we appreciate you guys.
But that's cool because now the editing from game to game will be consistent for the people who want to watch the whole series. And good thing it was close and went to a dream breaker, because honestly, I think it kind of makes it worth watching. From one day to the next, you're going to want to watch the next couple games. And I would say that out of everybody, I feel like everybody kind of performed as expected. I played really bad. Isaac played really good. So it was cool, and everyone showed up.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I really enjoyed it. I played a game with Chris as my partner and a game with Braden as my partner, and both of them are very good about being positive. Like Braden especially. Chris is just a positive person in general, but like Braden's feedback and what's the
Did he give you the you and me?
Huh? No.
Did he give you the you and me? You and me. It's me and you out here. That's his thing. You didn't watch it from his podcast?
Probably. He probably said something.
Wow.
I do remember him saying something similar to that. It's like, we got this, But yeah, no, his feedback and like his encouragement is very specific. You can tell he thinks a lot about how he communicates with his partner, which I appreciated. And I just had to be a little right side princess with him for a little while. I was
nobody
shaky.
had to do it more than me.
I was shaky at the start.
I played with Isaac, and I was as right side gets.
Dude,
call me crappy
you're
Colin
sitting
Johns.
on that. You're sitting
I was sitting on that line over here.
Bro.
You guys will see it. I actually think I played a decent right side. It's I will say, shout out to Isaac, but it's actually really refreshing to play right with someone who plays left really well.
Yes.
Right. So then you're like, these are my responsibilities. I got them, and I trust that you got yours. And so it actually enabled me to play right side better, honestly, probably than I ever have. And I was like really comfortable. Obviously, Isaac's really good too, so it's easy
Isaac's
to
really freaking good.
Just like, but you just know when you play with Isaac, if you're on the right, if a ball is off your left shoulder at all, move.
Yeah,
just
got it.
The paddle never goes here. If it's
He
like
will be
beyond
there.
your body, you never need to put your paddle out.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be there. So, but I think actually, him and I, we communicated and like non-verbally communicated really well in the court, our movement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was like really any confusion. I knew when he was going to get a ball. He knew when I was going to move out of the way. We didn't have any like paddle clanks or bump into each other or anything like that. So
did y'all play John and Braden?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to remember who y'all matched up against.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all were a strong team. Y'all communicated really well. You'll see what happens. So, all right, man. All right. I think that's really all we got to say about that. Huge shout out to the lab for hosting us. That was very kind of them. I think Braden hooked that up. Cannot say enough positive things about all the people that we hung out with. Forgot to mention Rafa. He stuck around and watched and was cheering and whatnot, which was always fun to have somebody kind of bringing up the ambiance. So
and Brian, again, hype. Brian was awesome. Man. And shout out Johnson Cola. He was there playing. The pros were playing before us. And most of them left, but John actually stayed and watched our game. I don't know if it was entertaining for him. He was pretty quiet, but he stayed and watched the whole thing.
Watching it, he was like, okay, what is my next instructional video going to be on?
Yeah,
watching all these chumps play.
Exactly.
John is a beast.
Yeah, he's very good. And I only talked to him extremely briefly, but I saw him talking to other people, and he was like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Yeah. Good vibes. So
I told him, I was like, John's nice to meet you. I'm a fan of your content. You do good stuff. And he was like, oh, thank you. You could tell he's kind of like a sincere person,
Yeah.
Same thing with Zane, dude. I was not expecting that. I walked in there. Zane was sitting on one of the little pews. I was like, hey, Zane, I'm Lewis. And he's like, oh, hey, what's up, Lewis? How are you? And I was just like, I was not expecting him to just be all like giddy and
I kind of was.
Friendly.
I think Zane is one of those, from what I could tell, like one of those authentic people. Like what you see of him online on the podcast and his videos is how he really is in person, which is also true, by the way. Everyone said this, but for most, if not all, the reviewers you guys see online, Chris, John, Braden, and so on, basically everybody's exactly the same in person. Lewis is just the same in person, plus a lot more dick jokes. And
Damn,
Brian Brian's so good in person. He's like the best audience. He's just like there to have a good time. He's always laughing. He's always making people laugh. I love hanging out with Brian.
Oh, Brian. Yeah, that was fun. Brian, thanks for letting me stay at your house, man. I will never forget the night we spent together. So
all right, let's talk about some paddles.
Man? All right, that's it.
We've been talking for a while.
I forgot to shout you out. I'm sorry, guys. Love all of y'all. Y'all are amazing. All right, so we're going to talk about the Vatic Saga 14s. They came out. I made a video comparing the Flash 14 Saga with the Gherkin Nightshade Hybrid. If you guys want to go check that out, it's my most recent video. Highly recommend that paddle. And then obviously the Bloom 14 Saga came out as well. And they have a couple more shapes. They have the V7 LH and the Flash LH, which are all elongated shape paddles. May
Flash
do
is
some
elongated?
testing. The Flash long handle is elongated.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. It is. I measured it the other day. It's 16.4 by 7.5.
Okay. Yeah. So basically.
Yeah. But anyway, these are extremely good paddles. I don't really have anything negative to say about these. This is pretty much a flawless paddle. The Bloom 14. For anybody who's listening, this is their standard shape. I'm struggling to find anything negative to say about this paddle. The shape is pretty much perfect. It's fairly stable out the box. It has sufficient power and pop to be an aggressive paddle, and it rips spin. It's just an awesome paddle.
And it has a nice kind of softer feel. Kind of
it has
a little bit of pocketing
feel
for a 14 millimeter. I'll put it that way.
Yep. It's kind of I alluded to this on my not alluded to. I literally said this on my comparison with this and the Nightshade. It's kind of like a bouncier feel, but
Yeah,
not in like the non-linear way. It's just kind of feels like it soaks
like
in
more
there
like in
and
pocketing. Yeah,
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 jumps out. But man, these paddles are really, really good. I thought the 16s were all good. I even mained the Saga Bloom 16 for a week and won a medal in 4.0 with it. But I think the 14s are the better choice
for you.
because no, I think for most people,
Okay.
because they're still relatively stable out the box, and they do everything else better.
Mm.
You lose a little bit of stability, but you gain a little bit more pop, and just the maneuverability of
Maneuverability.
them is better,
Yeah.
which was like the one downside of the 16 millimeter flash. Um, but yeah, this one almost a perfect paddle. I just wish it did not taper. That's the only
Yeah,
only complaint.
I want to get some of those because I played your Saga Bloom for like a game and a half. It was totally stock though,
Yeah,
and it was like under 8 ounces, quite light, but actually played pretty good for that.
yeah,
And for me coming from the Flare Prime X, it's the
it's a
transition was
very
actually
similar.
pretty similar. It's a softer feeling and less pop than the Flare
Yeah,
Prime X,
yeah,
but that's basically it. Say if you took the Flare Prime X and then made it feel a little softer and took away a little bit of the firepower, that's like the Saga Bloom 14, which is actually
yeah.
really good. Like that's actually like new week, new main territory for me,
Hmm.
potential, because there are times depending on where I'm at and what ball we're using that I wish or I maybe could do better with a little less pop. Honestly,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, anything else on the Vatics before we move on?
no, interested in them. I mained
Yeah.
a 14 millimeter prism flash for months, so it definitely has piqued my interest to have the 14 millimeters back. But yeah, I don't have them yet. And you said earlier before we were recording that they were technically supposed to go live today, but
Yeah.
now we don't think they did because we're still waiting on USAP approval.
Yeah.
Well, not we, but everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. We'll get there. All right. So as we also stated, I did compare this Gherkin Nightshade hybrid with the Vatic Saga Flash 14. These paddles are actually approved and available currently. You can utilize promo code Pursuit, which makes them $121.50.
It's a really good deal. It's a good paddle.
Which is an insanely good deal. This paddle and the Saga Flash 14 are so similar. It's unbelievable. There's really just a few minor nuances in feel as well as the shape. And apart from that, they're virtually the same thing. Highly recommend both of these paddles. This one is the Gherkin Nightshade Hybrid is a little cheaper. So if you want to save a little money, I would just go ahead and pick this one up. If you prefer the looks of the Vatic lineup, go with the Vatic. You can't go wrong with either of those. And obviously, the Nightshade comes in an elongated shape as well. So, some really good paddles. We're gonna move on to a couple paddles that both Justin and I got from Onix. I got a couple of them, but I'm just gonna.
I think we got different versions.
Yeah, we got different ones, except we got the same. I got this. This is the Malice DB14.
Okay, same one as I have.
I have the 10 millimeter version of the what is
Evoke
the
Premier?
Yeah, the Evoke. Yeah,
Evoke Premier. I have this is 14.
So I'm gonna let's talk about this. Have you hit the Malice 14 yet?
Briefly, but enough for me.
To me, it felt like a better Power Air.
Yes.
The shape is actually pretty good. The only thing that may kind of bother people is the handle grip is a little short. So if you're a 2E person and you're grabbing on this raw neck, that may bother you a little bit. Maybe not, but just kind of something to think about.
It's pretty tight through here.
It didn't bother me.
get your
either,
hand up
but
here like a lot.
yes, yeah, tons of room for a two-hand, for second hand. But yeah, this is paint grit texture, so already gets a knock right there. It's gonna lose its grit fairly quick.
I already feel mine after like literally 2 games.
Yeah, I played about, I can't remember if I played 2 or 3 games with it, but I mean, there's noticeably smoother spots, which is, consistent with every paint grit texture. It's just kind of how it is. It is definitely the lesser of the grit variants, but
yeah,
I think out the box, this is a decent paddle. Like, it was shockingly stable. I was
you're
not
right.
expecting it.
Well, it's a standard shape, so, but you are right in that, like, I would pick this over a Power Air, but it has kind of a similar feel, especially because just the shape alone, like, this is a standard shape with a long enough handle. From a manufacturing standpoint, they did some interesting stuff. Number one, here's a word that you learned this week. It's monocoque.
Jesus Christ.
So
come on, bro. Just so everybody knows, there was a point in time when we were in Austin, I'm not going to say where it was, they were saying monocoque, and every single person, apart from maybe like John Q and Chris, stared right at me after they heard that. And they were just looking at me for a reaction.
Well, they just kept saying monocoque over and over again, and we all knew 2 things. Lewis is too dumb to know what that means, and secondly, monocoque. So we're all looking at Lewis. But anyway,
to be fair, you were the only person who knew what monocoque was.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah. I know. I felt I felt a little bit like, I don't know, weird, but also cool, I guess. Whenever like John Q himself was like, wait a minute, Justin, do you know what monocoque means? Do we have any monocoque paddles? I was like, but anyways,
yeah. I don't know why they didn't ask me that.
I actually learned that not from pickleball. I learned that from racing. Like F1 cars have monocoques, and yeah. Anyways, but all that to say is that's cool about this design. It looks very clean. They're able to mold the throat in this way. The handle feels excellent because it's 100% like molded handle. It's part of the whole thing. A couple of things they did was cool. They protected these corners with these kind of snap-on corner edge guards, which these will be replaceable. It's actually the exact same design as the Diadem one, where you use the little tool to pull out the pieces. So that's cool. And then for the throat hole, which can be a bit of a gimmick, at least they made this one valuable. This is like a silicone rubber piece maybe in here. It's just friction fit in there, but hopefully that would help dampen some vibrations. I would say that this is still a very vibraty paddle. Given the design, you feel a lot of it in your hand and your wrist.
That was one thing I did notice too. It was similar to the Power Air. You kind of feel every bit of feedback.
Yeah. I'm sure this helps, though. If this wasn't there,
very board-like.
Yeah. Okay, so on to this one, which the Evoke Premier 14, another great shape, by the way. This is a standard shape.
I got the 10 millimeter, which is, or is this 10? Yeah, this is 10. It's going to be, the neck taper is going to be drastically different. As you can see, Justin, hold yours up. The neck taper is very wide here, and Justin kind of alluded to this whenever we looked at it. That's just to protect the neck from snapping, just because it's such a thin core. Are these 6 millimeter core cells?
I don't know, but it kind of looked like it from the ball dust, right? But it didn't say anything on the website.
Mine, and like you can see the honeycomb kind of through the face.
I know. I noticed mine on the ball dust a little bit too. I cleaned it. I usually try to clean these paddles before I show them on the podcast, but so this shape with the 14, it's thinner here, and you have like a really good handle. The handle length's about the same as the Flare Prime X. The 10 and the 12 millimeter versions are way fatter through here, and that's because this is kind of the weak spot, especially on thinner paddles, so they beefed it up, I guess, but it's far less comfortable.
Yours, the shape is excellent.
The shape is awesome.
Hits freaking hard.
Yeah, the shape is extremely similar to the Body Helix X5 shape.
Yeah.
And kind of a less square version of the J3, but overall similar handle length, similar dimensions. Dude, this 14, this is a really good paddle. Like, I was like, I got to seriously try this. This is going to be a main for me. and I weighted it up and everything. And here's what I'll say. I don't think there's any fiberglass in this, and you can kind of tell it feels a little softer off the face than most fiberglass paddles. But dude, it still has some pop and power.
Jumps off the face.
Yeah, but it's kind of almost like hard. It was hard for me to dial it in. I'm sure I could adjust to it, but I swear there was times where like the ball was popping up way more than I expected. The feels kind of soft and dampened, so it was like extra poppy, and I was like, "What's going on?" But yeah, I think it would take some serious adjustment for me. I didn't decide to put in the time to do the serious adjustment because the spin is just not nearly as good as the flare. And I was like, well, why would I change to a paddle that's pretty similar, but I don't necessarily vibe with, and it gets worse spin. But that's not to say this is a bad paddle at all. I'm sure the spin is average, you know.
That's one of the more aggressive feeling standard shape paddles I've ever tested.
Yeah.
It's up there. And, you know, it might be the poppiest Gen 2 I've tested.
It's up there. And it might be the poppiest that we've tested that doesn't have fiberglass. And I'm not 100% sure it doesn't, but it doesn't feel like it. And there's nowhere on the marketing material that says anything about fiberglass. All it says is carbon fiber. So, yeah, pretty interesting. It's an interesting feel for sure. And like a competitor in that, you know, aggressive standard shape. And it definitely has a good sweet spot. It has a Gen 2 size sweet spot, so better than something like the ESQ or the ALW.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I haven't hit the 10 millimeter yet. It's just not a shape that I really love, but I will hit it and kind of give some thoughts on it.
You got to see about the pop on that one.
Yeah, that one probably smacks the ball. I just haven't had time to get to that one, but I figured I'd try the Malice ahead of that just because I tried year 14. Actually really liked it. Onix, send me that one. That was pretty damn good. But we'll, I'll check out that 10. So that's really all the paddles we have to talk about, man. You ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Now, last week we had an owner, the owner from Grooven. We got the okay to share this. He sent in, 4 shapes or 5 shapes in his Gen 1 lineup?
Multiple shapes, we'll say. I think there are multiple elongateds, a hybrid, and maybe even multiple standards. I think it would be 5 shapes, like a short and long handle elongated, short and long handle standard, and then the hybrid shape.
Yeah. The hybrid shape, all 5 of these paddles are Gen 1 construction. So they're not thermoformed.
They're control paddles on purpose.
Soft, super control oriented. In fact, so control oriented that they had a Gen 1.5 version that you said they got feedback from and said they wanted even more control, which is why they made this update. So even softer. The hybrid shape failed PBCoR. That means it scored higher than a 0.44, which is the maximum score that you can have in 2025, which is crazy, like truly insane, that a super control-oriented Gen 1 paddle can fail this supposed test that is the test of the approval process, the most important test for approval process. So, which begs the question, is PBCoR broken? Justin, do you want to have some thoughts on this first, or you want me to go first?
Here's what I'll say, and then you could say some stuff, and I might have something else to add from kind of a behind the scenes perspective. Here's what I think we can know already. You and I have seen quite a few scores of different paddles that have failed and passed, and I've probably seen more than you. Here's what I can tell you, and I'm pretty confident saying this. The USA PBCoR test is not measuring power, neither subjective nor objective power. Now, I'm not saying the test is useless. I'm not saying that it's measuring nothing, because it might be measuring something, but I've yet to figure out what that something is. It's certainly not power, okay? And I've been... I'll wait. I'll say the rest after you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think this is just another data point that proves how, number one, inconsistent and inaccurate this testing procedure is. I don't want to go too deep into scores that we've heard because I don't want to share anything that is not supposed to be shared, but there have been some shocking scores.
Both ways, by the way. Powerful paddles that score really low. Super control-oriented paddles, but no power at all. That obviously, like this one, that score too high.
Yeah,
so.
And like hearing some of the most powerful paddle scores compared to paddles that failed that are nowhere near as powerful is freaking crazy. And it's unacceptable. You know, there's no way around it. It is truly unacceptable that this test is not consistent with perception, number one, but more importantly, what is truly easily measured in other testing, and it doesn't, equivalate to those things. They're not even remotely close. So to add that to USAP taking forever to approve paddles is just another, it's just the icing on the cake. USAP is currently, in my opinion, failing. Just as this PBCoR scoring, our testing procedure is failing. It's kind of ridiculous. I sympathize with the owners of paddle companies having no clue if your paddle is going to pass, number one, and then number two, having no clue when it's going to pass. So two, very important things that owners need to know is a time frame and if it's actually an accurate score. So in my opinion, USAP currently is failing the pickleball world. And, I do think that they are trying to do their best and do the right thing, but that doesn't make up for, not doing that. Being sorry and wanting to do good doesn't really mean anything. It's your actions, as many people say. So that's really how I have to say about that. I'm sure they're all great people, but not doing too good right now, in my opinion.
No. And I'll share now from my perspective as a consultant, as someone who's working directly with brands developing paddles. And a big part of what I do is product development and, actually developing these paddles from the ground up. And of course, a huge part of that before the go-to-market strategy is you have to get it approved, before you spend the money to manufacture it. You need to make sure that you're actually going to be able to sell this thing. And it has been extremely frustrating to try to even understand like what the hell is going on with this test. It's basically forced a lot of brands to just stop R&D. They're like, why would we spend all this money and time? We don't even understand. It's not like the goalposts are moving. It's like the goalposts are somewhere else, and we have no idea. And no one has seen them, and no one understands them. At least what I know. Yeah, it feels like it. Now, supposedly there are some people out there who understand how the test works, and I have my theories of what it might actually be measuring, but I'll wait until I have a little bit more data before sharing that. I don't want to, ring any false alarms. But yeah, it's extremely frustrating. It's very, very difficult, and it is very expensive. It's resource expensive, money and time, because now brands are pretty much forced to do a couple things: develop multiple versions of a paddle and sort of take a shotgun approach and see which one passes and say, okay, I guess we'll just go to market with that one because the other one's failed, even though maybe that wasn't the best one. So that's bad in its own way. Or the other approach is takes more time, but essentially every step along the way, you're sending your paddle in for private testing because you send directly to Element, to the lab, to get PBCoR testing. It costs money, by the way, and time, but just not as much money or as much time as USAP. And then to constantly be paying and taking this extra week, 2 weeks to get tested and get the results back and say, okay, we're actually in a good spot. We can move forward with this. So that's why also you're probably seeing a big lull in the market. We saw so many paddle releases for so long, and now all of a sudden there haven't been any in a while, and maybe there hasn't been anything really innovative come into the market. It's because the price, the unpredictability, and the time is squashing a lot of potential releases right now, which really sucks for the consumer and for myself and for brands. So it's a bit of a bummer, and I spend way too much time thinking about this test, talking to engineers, making spreadsheets, trying to find patterns, trying to figure out, how I can efficiently do my job right now based on, like I said, it's just like the prevailing theory right now is you don't know what it's going to score, so let's just hope for the best. And maybe this one will luckily happen to score within the limit. And I'm not talking about crazy powerful paddles here. I'm not talking about like trying to ride the line and create the most powerful paddle in the market. I'm talking about just like regular paddles. So yeah, gets me a bit bummed out thinking about it.
Yeah.
And man, something needs to change. Maybe it will. Unfortunately, one thing we know for sure is that even if it does, it certainly won't change quickly. USAP doesn't do anything quickly. So
they definitely don't approve paddles quickly, that's for sure. All right, man. Well, big bummer currently right now in the paddle approval landscape. It's kind of sucks. So hopefully everything gets figured out. It's just annoying. So yeah, we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is Net Gains, sponsored by Range Fit. Range Fit is an electrolyte mix company. They have some really great products. Justin and I stand by them, purchase them,
very good,
consume them, and highly recommend them. You can utilize code PURSUIT to save you some money when purchasing electrolyte mix from Range Fit. It is virtually the summer now, at least if you're in the South. It's already 85, 90 plus. So great time to stock up on some electrolytes. Keep yourself hydrated, avoid cramps, and just keep everything running efficiently and smoothly. So Range Fit, thank you so much for sponsoring this segment, which is Net Gains. So today it's going to be a very quick one.
I'm going to say a quick Range Fit thing.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I want to interrupt you, sorry, but I just want to say this anecdote. This is applicable. We were at PPA Challenger in Baton Rouge, home of Range Fit. There was some very small amount of Range Fit presence there. Like the products were there, and there were some people wearing some Range Fit gear. Anyway, one of the pros who traveled in, a guy to play, and he was a very, very good player, is also a doctor, and I think he's like a sports medicine doctor. Anyway, I caught this, I overheard it. He was looking at the Range Fit, and because like I said, it's hometown Baton Rouge. I'm sure he didn't know about it before looking at it, but then he was reading the label, and he said, "Man, this is actually really good stuff." He was like, "This actually has like all the right stuff." Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, that's kind of a spiel I've been saying, here and there, is it has a legitimately good amount of electrolytes, as well as very high quality ingredients. So I stand firmly behind Range Fit. I think the owner is doing an excellent job creating a stellar product, and they wouldn't be sponsoring this podcast if we didn't stand by them. So thanks again. All right. We're going to talk about training aids. The only training aids that I recommend. There's a lot of training aids. There's a lot of stupid stuff on Amazon. There's just lots of dumb stuff. Now, I'm going to start with things I recommend a little bit, things I recommend, fairly well, and then the one product that I actually highly recommend and you will see the most benefits from. So, just fair warning, a couple of these are very expensive. So training aids are in no way, shape, or form necessary. So before we get into this, you do not need to buy any of these. However, if you're someone who wants training aids and likes to just have something to do or other things to, supplement your drilling and playing, these are the only three things I would recommend. At the lowest of the totem pole is the dink wall from Enhanced Pickleball. Now, the reason why I say this is the lowest is because, number one, it's a little bit pricey. And number two, you can always just go find a brick wall or a cement wall and go do some wall drills on. However, having that at your home, not ruining your drywall or having to set up, wood on your wall is nice. So also being able to manipulate the board on a hinge to, change the launch angle when you hit it is also pretty nice. Now, this is not going to be, in my opinion, that beneficial for anybody who's 4.0 plus. I mean, it can help you, obviously, but it would not be even close to the top of list for things to do to improve your game, in my personal opinion. Enhanced Pickleball does have 2 different dink walls that you can purchase. I do have a code. It should be Pursuit or Pursuit 15. Go check that out if that's something that interests you. Again, you do not have to buy these things. You can drill. It's a much more efficient way than any of these things. Number 2 is a trainer paddle. Now, this is one I would say is kind of like my middle of the road recommend. Wouldn't say it's like the absolute best training aid, but it is good enough. You know, I think there is some value to this because while you won't be utilizing a paddle that is similar to what you'd be utilizing in a game, you are focusing on precision contact, which is something that a lot of the 4, 5, and under players could benefit from greatly. And if you look at Justin and I's paddles, the ball dust, it's fucking everywhere. So these are things, you know, that while I say is not something you need to be using every day, you know, going out there and trying a trainer paddle here and there. This is the G-Spot trainer from Gherkin, which is actually one of the best priced ones. And it also has a CFC layup. This is one I would definitely recommend. Code Pursuit will save you some money when purchasing this. But second, this is kind of the mid-tier of what I would recommend for a training aid.
And for the trainer paddle, by the way, I kind of have realized this recently because we were using them quite a bit, just goofing around, and I hadn't used them much before that.
Dude.
Yeah, it was fun. But what I had thought about before, I was like, I don't want to use trainer paddles because I'd rather just use my real paddle because I want to get used to the timing and the balance of my real paddle. But what I realized with the trainer paddle is it's not necessarily about those things. And honestly, it's probably not going to throw you off that bad anyway. It's more of like a proprioceptive tool, which means how your body feels what's actually happening. Basically, you give yourself a smaller margin of error, and you are going to notice immediately the second you hit outside of the sweet spot, of course, because it's a tiny little thing with a 2 twist weight. So on your paddles...
what were the specs?
That was 2.5 on the twist weight. And the swing that I don't remember was like 79 or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I put some lead tape on mine, or tungsten tape. Both tungsten tape got the thing up to 2.9 twist weight. So
let's go, baby.
Huge.
Huge.
But
almost
anyway,
in line with a gearbox, baby.
Basically. But yeah, it's a proprioceptive tool. It kind of teaches your hand-eye coordination to feel a little bit more accurately exactly how far the ball is away from your hand and on the left and right axis as well. And it takes a bit of adjustment, dude. When I first tried it, I pulled it out and I just like whiffed like 3 times in a row, hit one off the edge. But then I played a game with it and I started like actually playing pretty decent with it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, you can adjust to this. And then when I went back to my paddle, totally not a weird adjustment, by the way. It just feels like a totally different thing. So, okay, yeah, go on. What's your number 3? I think I have a guess.
All right, number 3 in the highest recommendation. However, huge disclaimer. This is going to be very expensive, which is a ball machine. Now, you can get any ball machine you want. However, I've tried multiple ball machines. I've tried the Slinger, which sucks. I would not recommend that one. However, it's very reasonably priced. I've also tried the Ernie, which is better. And I purchased with my own money the Titan Ace ball machine. And that ball machine is very good. I would highly recommend a ball machine if, this is a huge if you have some money to burn and you're very serious about going out and drilling and you don't have a consistent drill partner. So if you have somebody you can drill with all the time, you probably don't need a ball machine. But if you are someone who likes to work on their technique, maybe you're working on a specific shot, whether it be drops, drives, resets, whatever it is, I think the Titan Ace ball machine or Titan, I can't remember what the bigger one is, but it might be Titan 1. Ball machines are very good. They definitely will improve your game. Not strategic. They will be a skill-based improvement. That's a huge, huge designation. These are not going to make you a better player. These are going to make you better at specific skills in pickleball, which, if you implement correctly, will make you a better player. So I highly recommend the ball machine if you meet those two needs. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about training aids. Anything other than that, I wouldn't really even consider, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, and to clarify here, people probably think we're leaving some stuff out. What you're not talking about is any PT tools. Those are obviously useful, like resistance bands, things to help you physically stretch it. You're talking about pickleball specific, playing specific items.
Specific, training. Like,
of course, those type, like a massage gun is helpful, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So
I just didn't want people to come for you in the comments and be like, "What about resistance bands? You scrub?"
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like, the string that you tie onto your paddle and hit the ball. No. The one you have like a weighted, like you put water in the weight and you hit the ball. The ball's in the string.
That silicone loop that you like stretch around your paddle and it makes it super heavy and you can only hit the sweet spot.
Dumb. Let's see, what else is a horrible training aid? Oh, this one's not as bad, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's that spin shot one where it like has the ball. It kind of teaches you how to hit a top spin
plus
shot.
Or top spin pro or whatever.
Yeah, those are fine for like ultra beginners. But other than that, I don't really see much use for it.
Yeah, like we know what it feels like to use topspin.
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's stupid. And they're like, not to mention they're like $180. Like dumb.
Oh, really? I thought they were more than that.
Oh, damn. That's embarrassing if so. All right, they're scamming people. All right, we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment, New Week, New Main, sponsored by Bodie Pickleball. If you are looking for overgrips, edge tape, tungsten tape, sleeves, and other pickleball accessories, I would highly recommend checking out Bodie Pickleball. You can use code PURSUIT to save 15% at checkout. Stay grippy, guys. I really love Bodie Pickleball grips. They have become our favorites, and they have tons of different colors, tons of different products, so check them out. Thank you for sponsoring New Week, New Main. Bodie's sending us some stuff, man. He's got some tungsten pods, and then some silicone grip bands. Yeah,
so, that's pretty cool. Bunch of colors.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah. I'm interested to get those in, dudes. Steadily just adding products
on the grind always.
What's your main? New week, bro. It better be a new main. Right. Surprise us, entertain us.
All right. I did say earlier that there are times in certain scenarios with certain balls that I feel like I would probably play better with something with a little less pop than the Flare Prime X. So I've been exploring that. Okay, and I have a lot of things that it needs to fulfill. Basically, my problem when I've been trying other paddles is that they don't have enough spin, to be honest. Or there's something else like a non-linear power curve that I don't really get along with. So here's what I've been flirting with recently. Boom.
Oh, look, baby.
Standard
X5.
shape.
Gosh,
long
that's a good
handle. Great spin, by the way.
Yeah.
Great texture, great spin. This is a 16 mil. So it's got a bit of a stiffer feel still. So it has some pop and power. I mean, it has a good amount, actually. I would say it's, above average in all court, but it's not like a power paddle at all.
Yeah.
But since it's 16 millimeter, it's a little bit softer, more plush, more forgiving. So this is what I've been flirting with. And it's not good enough. Still on the Neonic Flare Prime X.
Oh, man, you shill.
I can't do it, man.
Chill.
So this thing is just too good. Like I actually, at this point, it's like I feel the pressure to change. It's been almost 6 months I've been maining this, and I feel like
how much does it cost? How much it costs?
Killing
Justin?
our segment. What this? Oh yeah. Well, with your code Pursuit, I think it's like 126. Yeah, dude, it's just too good.
Yeah.
And I just play my best with it, and I just like connect with it. It's probably because I've been playing with it for 5 or 6 months, but. Honestly, Flare Prime X, I'm ready to replace you, but I just need something better. People ask for our weight setups a lot. This is the weight setup I use, very similar to what Lewis used on the same paddle. This is 0.5 gram per inch. This is like 7 inches of it here. So this is 3.5 grams down here, and this is 4 inches on the top. So this is 2 grams. So 2 grams on the top corner, 4 grams on the bottom corner, 3.5, something like that. And I've tried multiple different setups. This is the one I like the most. It gives it huge sweet spot, but enough plow through with a little bit of weight on the top. I don't have anything on the dead center on the top because this is one of those. It's not one of those paddles that's super dead right here. You still get you can like tip a ball and it still gets
honestly,
some good power.
It's like one of the better paddle tips, if you will, on the market, which was one thing that
a lot of them are dead.
Such a nice, so refreshing coming from the paddle techs to that
from the ESQ. Yeah, you can just the tip this one all day.
Just the tip,
all
baby.
Right.
All right. Well, here's the thing, dude. I've been flirting.
You got to carry this segment, bro, because I'm just boring at this point.
I've been flirting, and here's 3 paddles that I could easily, right now, main. It is the Gherkin Nightshade, the the Vatic Pro Saga Flash 14 millimeter, and the Vatic Pro Saga Bloom 14 millimeter. Could easily main any one of these, and I potentially may, but not yet.
Oh,
I'm not going to switch yet, but I have a feeling that I want to go back to a hybrid shape. I just have been playing a lot of hybrids in testing and have really enjoyed them. But I'm going to stick with the Gearbox GX2.
Can't believe it.
It is still the main, guys. This paddle is very, very, very good. Played with this in the podcast battle and felt like I did pretty damn good. This paddle hits hard, has good pop, gets shockingly quite good spin. Very stable once you add some tape to it. I think I have, let's see, this is like 4 or 5 inches of 1 gram per inch tungsten tape. And yeah, man, this is just a nice feeling paddle. If you love it, you love it. If you don't, you don't. Boing.
It feels it has a little bit of a boing feel when you hit it hard.
It's a little boingy.
That one was hard for me to connect with. Also, that is a paddle that's kind of dead at the tip.
I wouldn't say that I agree with that, but yeah, it's not like, I mean, compared to the Flare Prime X, yeah, but like, almost everything's dead on the tip.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. That's not like a harsh criticism or anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Gearbox still has me wrapped around its little 5.3 inch finger. Let's go and move on to everyone's actual real favorite segment.
Choo-choo.
NERDTOWN.
It's NERDTOWN, brought to you by
NERDTOWN, baby. Let's go. NERDTOWN. Bring us.
I'm about to sponsor this segment.
Hell yeah. Sponsored by Send me some money, dog.
Pickleball Consulting. But actually, don't. I'll come back and sponsor it later because I'm full. My client books are full right now, which is awesome.
Yeah. All right. Today's topic.
All right. You go. Go ahead.
Are 100% foam cores overrated?
Okay. And we're going to do this a little bit discussion style instead of me just soapboxing. Normally, that's what it is. It's like 10 minutes of me just ranting about something. But we haven't talked about this previously, so I'm curious of your opinion. I have no idea what you're going to say. You also don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to let you go first. Do you think that 100% foam cores are overrated?
All right. Here's the quick and dirty answer with a caveat explained after. They are absolutely overrated. However, this is because of one thing. The True Foam, with its patent on voids in the foam cores, makes every other foam core that I've tested obsolete compared to it. So, in my opinion, they are overrated. The True Foam is an exceptional paddle. The 008 and the Diadem Blue Core, and there's one other I'm forgetting, right?
Well,
isn't there something else
tested, not approved, but you've tested the Flick Terracoris.
The Flick, yeah. They have
So,
not.
True Foam, Blue
The
Core?
Blue Core and 008 specifically are perfectly good paddles. In fact, they feel great. They will have increased longevity and durability. However, they are far and away less performative paddles compared to the Carbon True Foam. And in my opinion, that is 100% due to the voids in the foam, which add quite a bit of dwell time. I think it also increases power
And spin.
with the
100%
addition.
spin.
Yeah, definitely spin by far. So, long-winded answer: yes, I do think foam cores are overrated. However, I still think there is a place for them in the market. Things could change. Things could change drastically. I just think I've gone to foam cores. I've played with a lot of foam cores, and none of them have I ever even thought about maining apart from the True Foam.
All right.
All right. Go on. I see you smirking over there.
Yeah, this will be fun. Do I think that 100% foam cores are overrated? No. I actually think they're underrated.
Ooh.
Because
All right.
But it's because the same reason you said. It's because of the ones that we have seen publicly available to this point haven't been that great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I applaud what Blue Core is doing and the Selkirk 008, and I'm here for the innovation and the durability. But yeah, the playability is honestly probably not even better than a equivalent honeycomb paddle, or at best equal, right? So, right, at best equal. Let's say that.
At best, yeah.
Now the True Foam is a really good paddle. Now, here's why my answer is different than yours.
I think it's important, real quick, to say this. The True Foam is significantly better than any other foam core paddle currently on the market.
Publicly released.
Would you agree?
Legal.
Yes,
I
legal
mean,
paddle.
that illegal Flick Terracore is pretty crazy.
Pretty damn good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but
legal paddle, it's by far the best. Continue.
Yeah, agreed. Here's why my answer is different than yours. I know a lot of things you don't know. So, and I don't mean I'm smarter than you.
I mean, you're gonna say something like that.
I just have a lot of insider knowledge, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Look, dude, you just said it exactly. You said there hasn't been a single foam core paddle that you would main. And it's funny timing that you said that, because there is a prototype that I played with this morning, 100% foam, that I would 100% main. And I am like very excited about it. It's very promising.
Send it to me.
And I'll tell you this snippet about it. This isn't giving anything away. And this would make it even more shocking to you guys who know me. It's an elongated paddle. I mean, it may come in other shapes.
God.
But it's so good that I would main it in an elongated form.
Isaac Olson is going to be very happy when he hears you say that.
Yeah. But, yeah. And then that is the second one in the last maybe 3 weeks. I've had a different full foam core prototype from a different origin, we'll say, that I was testing, that I was also like, wait a minute, this is really good. Now, hopefully we will see versions of these two go to market within, I mean, it won't be soon, but within months. I say hopefully. Look, USAP, call back to, is their test broken and how long everything takes. But I think that foam cores, 100% foam cores, are underrated right now because we have not even come close to seeing the best versions of them. Now, the True Foam is very good, but yeah, there's going to be some really good paddles that still have all the same durability benefits, but actually have a really good playability, better than their honeycomb alternatives. Like this paddle I was playing with this morning, on paper, I was like, I'm going to hate this, It's elongated. There's other things about it, the metrics. And then I played it and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So, which it takes a lot for a paddle for me to be like, whoa, wait a minute. And it doesn't feel crazy like I'm like, oh, it's just going to be illegal. Like it feels like it could totally be a legal paddle. So, yeah, I'm really excited actually for the development of foam cores and, hopefully some that maybe I helped on or had more of a hand in come to market and we get to talk more in depth about them. But yeah, that one's got me a little giddy after this morning.
That is why Justin is the mayor of NERDTOWN. Yeah, no, I mean, I would say I agree with your sentiment completely. And
I agree with yours. You have a valid point.
Yeah.
If we just judge on what's on the market right now.
Immature, yeah, at the moment. And like you said, you know a lot more about what is potentially coming. But based off of like what's currently there, yeah, I would say it's overrated. However, after your take, I would agree with you, 100%. Yeah, it's just
I gotta get you on the NDA, bro. You want to become
why
a
would it
Pickleball
not
tester?
be good? Yeah, why would it not be good in 6 months from now when everybody's testing it in R&D and I'm sure it will be vastly different, and there will be plenty of competitors for the True Foam. So yeah, interesting take, man. I might have to get me on that NDA, dog. I'll test.
You gonna become a tester?
Yeah,
sign NDA. It's not a paid job. In fact, I think you need to pay me.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm out. All right. Anything else before we sign off here, Justin?
No. It's good to be back. Maybe we'll skip next
week.
week. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll take a month off. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this very long episode of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit, here with my co-host, Justin, from Pickleball, etc. If you have any questions, any topics that you'd like discussed in the future, please don't hesitate to put those down in the comment section below. Until the next one, we'll see you guys soon. Peace.